Okay, welcome back. So next thing, we've just added our viewport to our HUD. I'm going to actually create a reference to the widget. So let's just drag this off and say promote to variable. And I'm going to call this one my HUD 02. So my naming conventions are getting a little mixed up here. So ignore that one at the top. This is the one we're using, my HUD 02. We're going to set that, and you'll notice, like at the moment, and we can. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. You can drag that from there as well, just to tidy things up a little bit. So you'll notice right now. We've got that text in the middle. So one of the things we want to do is to actually initialize really that and clear it out. So let's do that first up. And what we're going to do, the way we're going to do that is to create a custom event. Custom event. So we can see that down here, a custom event. And I'm going to say set screen text like so. I'm going to drag off this. So if I just drag from here, yeah, that's what I want to get my HUD 02, which is fine. And we should be able to drag that off, and we should be able to. The way we need to do this is a little bit different to some of the other things. So we need to do get txt. So we're getting our screen text control first. Just getting a reference to that. And then we want to set text of our screen text or widget like so. And that's going to be in text. And we're just going to connect that. So this is kind of like a function. And we can call it like a function. It's not exactly like a function. In Unreal Blueprints, you can use functions. And there are times when you definitely want to use functions to simplify things. Other times it's easier to use these custom events. There's not always a clear and cut one to use. If you're just a beginner and you're starting out, maybe just use these custom events. If you're used to using functions, feel free. You could also do this in a function as well if you wanted to. Sometimes these offer more functionality, which is why quite often I tend to use custom events over functions. So just thought I'd point that out. Now what we want to do is also have a parameter here that we're going to put into our in text here. If we hover over there, you'll see it's in text. It's of type text. Okay, so we actually have a type text here. Let's just add a parameter. If we go to the right hand side of the details, we've got inputs. We can add a parameter here, create new input argument. The type, we want it to be a text. And we can just call this screen text. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one to input here. So what we've got now is that we can call this with our screen text parameter, and it'll set that up. So we're going to use this to actually change the screen text variable there in the HUD, so referring straight to the HUD there. Now what we can do is, before we add it to the viewport, we actually want it, if we want to make sure it's cleared before we add it to the viewport. So we're going to just go from here, set screen text like so, and we want it to be empty. So that's pretty much what we want. So you can see we're going to, and we're calling it new parameter. Hang on, let's compile it, and that should update it. Okay. Sometimes, just a warning, I didn't compile before I created this one, and it hasn't worked out that I've got this thing. So if I just delete that, you see it's come up with a couple of errors. If I just delete that and do it again, now that I have, actually let's compile, make sure we get a successful compile. And then we go set screen text, like so. And now you can see the name is correct. Another little quirk of blueprints. So put that in. And that now, compile, save, and let's just run it. And we should have no screen there. No text on here. And bang, okay. So the reason I left it there to begin with was to make sure that we are actually successfully adding the widget, the blueprint widget, to our screen. I did that beforehand just to make sure that was happening successfully. Now that I know that once I knew it was happening successfully, I could then go and initialize it with no text. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to set it up so whenever I enter the collision volume here for my blueprint, for my light blueprint, it's going to tell me that I can use the E key to turn it on and off, which it doesn't do at the moment. So we'll pause again here for a sec and come back and do that.